Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. My name is Matt, also known as the King of Armor Destruction and Mr. Chilly Willy today because it's a paltry 30 degrees. We have a body armor demo today. This one is our LA Police Gear Level 4 plate. This is a very budget-oriented plate that's been tested by many channels, including myself, in the past. It's a tile array plate, 10 by 12, a little on the lighter side because it has our foam ring. But what's special about this test today is you'll see that I have 3 plates here. Plate number 1 is our somewhat control plate. This guy has been left in my house, 65, 75 degrees for the last 3 years, 10/11 of 2020. It's just been sitting in my basement. Plate number 2 here that's lost all of its color was set outside upright, so it's been subjected to heat, cold, snow, rain, wind, all those good weather elements. And then plate number 3 here that is got black goo on it was actually thrown in the swamp down at our property and left there to let all of that water do its magic. In full transparency, LA Police Gear sent me a bunch of these plates a long time ago with no strings attached. I do have an affiliate link through them and a discount code that earns me a sales commission. So if you are looking at picking these up and you want to say thank you for all the hard work that I'm going to put into this video, that's one way to do it. Now, if this is the first time you're viewing my channel, we do all of our body armors completely different than anyone else on YouTube. Since this is rifle armor, we're going to shoot at 45 feet. We're also going to shoot at 0 degrees because that represents worst case scenario. These level 4 plates employ a ceramic strike face, and typically per the NIJ standards, we would drop them on their face 2 times, but mainly because we're trying to see how the weather has affected or not affected these plates. We're not going to drop test any of them today, and we're just going to shoot them as is. We use a giant clay briefcase filled with Roma Plastilina #1 clay, which is always looking for sponsors, that we put our plates up against, and it acts as a compressible media. We've been heating it up for the last hour and a half or so that it gives us an accurate representation of back face, but the NIJ heats it up to 100 degrees and they drop a ball on it and certify it. And again, for brevity's sake and the fact that I'm out here in the woods and I can't control the temperature of it after I take it out of my heating box, we're just looking at a general idea of what back face could be. If you see something like 60 millimeters in my clay, in an official clay, that would be failing. We also use a chronograph, a Pro Chronopal Digital DLX, again because we need to know the velocity of that round. For NIJ Level 4 or RF3, you need to stop 1 round of M2 armor piercing at 2880 feet per second. Now, some people have had some general confusion online to think that if that round is stopped, then pretty much all other rifle calibers around that would be stopped, or lesser would be. But in actuality, for NIJ Level 4, it is 1 single round of M2 AP. There is no guarantee that that plate would stop M855A1. Now, generally speaking, you could look at the velocity and the mass of the bullet and know that it probably would have a good chance of stopping it. But again, these are standards, and if it's not listed, it's technically not covered. We also put a spreadsheet here at the beginning that we kind of foreshadow all the threats that we're going to shoot at it. We mark our velocities and our penetrations, and we do a teardown at the end. I'm mainly interested to see what these plates look like on the inside after being subjected to various weather conditions over the last 3 years. And finally, as a reminder, I am not an NIJ lab. If you see a threat penetrate or a threat is stopped over here, you should always defer to the manufacturer to produce accredited lab results against that threat. And on the flip side, if you're the manufacturer and you see me stop some kind of insane threat, you should send that plate off to an accredited lab and have that added as a special rifle threat to your panel. Plate number 1 is our control plate. He is strapped in and ready to go. For brevity's sake, I'm going to list off the 5 threats that we're going to shoot at the plate, and then we're going to quickly go to the other guns without too much verbose talking. We're going to do 2 rounds of M2 armor piercing. That's a 165 grain full metal jacket. We have our M14A1 API, Mr. Flashy Flash. That is a cool armor piercing incendiary load that we like a lot. We have our M80A1. That is the U.S. Army's current issue ball round in 7.62 NATO. It is like M855A1, but it's 130 grains with a copper core and a hardened arrowhead steel penetrating tip. And that's what I have here. That is actually in 22 Creedmoor. So we should see some velocities well above what I get out of my 22-inch barrel. We've got our TC compass here, 24-inch 300 Win Mag. Woo-wee! And now for our M855A1. This is in 22 Creedmoor, essentially like 22-250, but the twist rate on the barrel is a lot faster. This is only an 18-inch from KAK Industry. They are working on a 21-inch, which will give me even more velocity. Should be over 3,400 feet per second there.
So much fire, so satisfying.
Easy shot placement here. M2AP number 1, number 2, Mr. Flashy Flash API right there, M80A1 right there, then the super fast M855A1 right there. Place those bets in the comments below. Ho! No pass-through, folks. Now, if you're watching this in comparison to the RMA plate, you'll see there's a bit more dimpling on the back of this plate compared to the 1155. We have a dimple there from the first M2AP. A little more on that one. We had to measure it. This is a fresh block that has been heating. 29 millimeters. The M80A1 shot, 20 millimeters, and then that little shot of M2AP in the center, 10 millimeters. So fairly respective. You can see the plate is degrading though. There are tiles that make up this plate, so a lot of it is localized only. Plate number 2 is ready to go. That is our left in the outdoor elements plate. Michigan can get below 0, and we top out around 95 to 100 degrees, although that was in direct sunlight part of the day and it was black, so I think it absorbs more heat. So it can get pretty toasty. Same shot arrangement. The M2AP will be first. And now our M855A1 and our 22 Creedmoor. Very interested to see how much more we can gain with a longer barrel length, maybe 21 inches. That's what she said. 3,500 feet per second. Wowzers, Batman.
So much fire, so satisfying.
Same shot dispersion. You can see the tiles in this plate. M2AP number 1, number 2, the API, Mr. Flashy Flash, love that stuff. The M80A1, then the M855A1 Super Speed. Place those bets in the comments below. Hey, no pass-through, folks. Our plate has seen better days. You can see that it's already starting to come apart, but it contained all those threats. Very, very good job there, LA Police Gear or whoever is making those plates for you. Look at this, he looks like a little guy. Arr. Plate number 3 is ready to go. This is the one that has been left in approximately 3 to 6 foot of water, depending on how the river gained or lost during the year. Very, very nasty water, mind you. That black slime stuff is all over everything. See how this fares. And finally, our super speed M855A1. A big thanks to KAK Industry for sending out this upper. Nice, good velocity off that load.
So much fire, so satisfying.
All right, same 5-shot dispersion on plate number 3 as the prior 2 plates. M2AP, that one was a little low. M2AP, the flashy flash, M80A1, then super speed M855A1. Place those bets in the comments below. R.A.N.G.E, we had a penetration from the first hit of M2AP. Very, very interesting. Not sure what would have caused that. The prior 2 plates stopped that same shot just fine, unless somehow water got in there and caused an issue with the layers. The plate is falling apart. Let's do the teardown on all 3 of these and see if we can pinpoint anything that's degraded over this period of time. Now for a fan favorite, paging Dr. Matt to surgery, paging Dr. Matt to surgery, the teardown. Let's see if we can observe any differences in these plates. Here's plate number 1, June of 2020. This was the indoor control. Confirmed no penetrations on the back of the plate. The downside to a lot of our import plates that are tile array is the lack of adhesion to keep all of these together. Once I peeled this front cover off, all the tiles fell out. We're not going to measure anything here because we've done that in many other videos, but you can see this is that foam ring I talk about on a lot of manufacturers who make tile array plates that don't have edge-to-edge coverage. This is a non-ballistic foam and is not ready to stop M2AP at all. You are reliant on the backer to stop threats, and in some cases that has shown not to work very well. Here is our PE backer. You can see most of those threats were contained within the most of the ceramic and barely made it into the PE except for the M2AP there. You see the tile array looks like we're hitting on the convergence of 4 of those tiles there. Maybe that's why the 3rd one penetrated. So this is the control there. You can see that that polyethylene is still fairly rigid. That matters because here is number 2. Again, no penetrations. We're seeing some discoloration of the polyethylene, and we're actually peeling layers off of it. That's the back layer we peeled off, and you can see how much more flex that this plate that's been subjected to heat and cold extremes is starting to show there. Very, very interesting. Again, there's the front cover, some of the tiles are there, and again I peeled off more layers on there, always for constructive criticism. Better adhesion of these tiles to that backer. This is a giant mess. Plate number 3, the waterlogged one, there was our single pass through right there. Looks like it's again on the convergence of 4 of those corners of the tile, and this one is still fairly rigid, so the water didn't seem to affect it that much, at least that I can tell. Very, very interesting. And there you have it. Well, folks, I'm gonna have to make this one quick because I am freezing my feet off out here and I need to get the heck out of here. But rather impressive performance for 3-year-old plates that we could argue saw quite a bit of abuse, especially being left outside and sunken in a swamp. It would appear with our polyethylene, the heat and cycling of heat and cold did the most detrimental damage to that backer. I would say we had consistent solid performance across all 3 of our samples. We stopped some pretty mean armor piercing threats, although that last M2AP load must have just been right on that convergence of those 4 tiles, and maybe from soaking in the swamp for all that time caused those layers to delaminate a little bit, and that little penetrating core found its way through. Again, as I always offer constructive criticism to manufacturers or retailers when selling this stuff, is adhesion between our backer and our strike face are key to providing good long-lasting performance, especially if we want to look for multi-hit capabilities. If we had add some kind of laminating layer with Kevlar or Aramid on that strike face, it would help keep it together longer and may have not allowed that tile to shift, or however that core found its way through. With all that being said, it's time for me to get the heck out of here. But at the end of all my videos, I take a moment to thank all those who help make these possible, because there's a lot that goes into these. Number one is my wife and son, who are over there helping me put everything away. Number two is LA Police Gear, who, full transparency, sent me a bunch of those plates a long time ago to demo with as I pleased, with no strings attached. Number three is my Patreon Subscribe Star and YouTube channel members. I have a link tree in the description below. Like various other content creators, I've got discount codes or affiliate tracking links in there. They cost you nothing. Essentially, they earn me a sales commission, and what I do with all of those funds, the little amount that I do make, is I put it right back in the channel, buying different types of bullets or supplies. I just dropped a whole bunch of money on some M948 slap rounds and 308 for some testing maybe coming up. And of course, number four is you all for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you at the range.